Hey guys, today I have this simple makeup look. I'm going to be doing the full face using all new makeup products, so if you guys are interested, let's go ahead and hop on in. So to get started, I'm going to take my L'Oreal Infallible Total Cover Concealer Palette. This is in the shade 220, and I'm going to go in with a mixture of those lighter shades just to kind of find my perfect one. Since it is new, I didn't know which one was going to be good for me, but I'm going to be using the second and the third shade, and I'm just going to go ahead and carve out underneath my brows just a little bit. I did already do my brows off camera like per usual, but I wanted to just give a little bit extra like structure to the brow, and I'm also going to put a little bit of this on like my blemish spots on my face, and I just found that it worked amazing. It's so creamy and the colors really worked nicely. This was my first time using it and I really liked it. I really liked the way it worked. To go ahead and start off with the face, I'm taking the Revlon Photo Ready Pore Reducing Primer, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on my hand and take a brush and just put it all over my face, focusing it more into the T-zone area, wherever I have the most pores. And throughout doing this, I realized that this works so good. I did not expect it to work this good. It really reminds me of the Benefit Porefessional. It seriously gives the face like a no pore look before you do your foundation, and just gives like a really clean canvas, which I loved. So I'm going to go ahead and put this all over my face. To go in with some foundation, I'm taking the Makeup Forever Ultra HD with this new e.l.f. sponge. I'm obsessed with this sponge right now, and this foundation is not new for me, but I mean, it's kind of new. It's just not new for this video, but I am obsessed with it. It is in the shade Y335, and I'm going to go ahead and put this all over my skin and blend it out. And I love this e.l.f. sponge. So I just wet it a little bit, and it expanded like a lot. And it has like a ridge in the middle where I think it's really easy for you to hold onto. I do flip it around a few times as I apply my foundation, but I love it. I actually like press it and then roll a little bit as well. Quick side note, moving back over to that primer we placed down before the foundation. Guys, I am obsessed with the way the foundation is starting to look. It just looks so mattified yet dewy, if that makes any sense at all. It just looks so flawless. I'm so happy with it. So I honestly didn't find that this sponge like soaked up too much product. It definitely has a different texture than a regular beauty blender. It's more of a bouncier, like different type of sponge. It's not as like airy and holy as the beauty blender one is, if that makes any sense. So I didn't find that this soaked up too much product, but it also has a lot of bounce to it. So what I like to do is just stipple it on and then roll it out, and I find that that gives more of a better coverage. For concealer, today I'm going back in with that new L'Oreal concealer palette, and I'm taking the second and third shade and putting like a little bit underneath my eyes into an upside down V, as well as my forehead and a little bit by my nose, and then I'm just going to go ahead and blend that out with my itty bitty beauty blender. So the coverage of this concealer is so good. I typically don't use concealers that are in like pans like this, but honestly it works so well. I'm used to using them on the stick or like more of a liquid form, but this was so good and it didn't really crease like at all. And I also put this on my eyelids just to go ahead and hide any veins, as well as prep for our eyeshadows. So I was really pleased with this concealer. To go ahead and set down the concealer, I'm going to use the new Too Faced Born This Way powder, and this is a setting powder. It is pretty new, and I was so excited to try this out. When I first got it, I was really excited. You guys know my favorite powder is the Laura Mercier, so for me this was a big step, but I'm super excited that I did because it feels so velvety and it actually did an amazing job. I'm just going to go ahead and set it down like I normally would in the areas that I put the concealer, and then I will just brush it away with a brush, and I love the way that it looks. And another thing that I love about this powder in particular is in the packaging. As soon as you open it up, it has a little flap by the sifter, so it's not going to make a mess essentially when you first open it up. Next, to go ahead and bronze up the skin a little bit, I'm taking this e.l.f. contouring palette, and this is a cream contouring palette, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this into like the apples of my cheeks and my forehead, temples, all that, just so I can get a little bit more of a bronzier look. And I am placing this right underneath that powder, so I'm not getting it on top of the powder or anything like that. I did not place any powder in this area, so don't mind that. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this in those areas, and I am obsessed with this. This was my first time using it, and I love it. I think it works amazing. It just sinks right into the skin and looks like your skin is naturally bronze, and it feels really nice in the skin as well. So And then I'll also bring a little bit of this shade right down the bridge of my nose and kind of contour just a little bit, like a slight contour using my Sigma 3D brush. Cannot do it without this brush. I'm absolutely obsessed with it, but I'm going to go ahead and do that a little bit there and a little bit below my lip just to kind of give a fuller look, and that is the bronzing. Moving on over to the eyes, I'm taking this e.l.f. Aqua eyeshadow palette, and I'm going in with a few different colors, but I'm also using these new brushes from Time Los Angeles. They are these marble type brushes. I'm obsessed with them. They're actually behind me in this video. They're the face brushes that are behind me. They recently just came out with these eye brushes, and they're so good. I'm obsessed with them. They're like a white-haired brush, and super aesthetically pleasing, but also work really good in the performance area as well. So I'm taking this shade from the Aqua palette that's more of like that taupey mauve color, and I'm just going to run this into my crease area. Now these shades are more of like a cream eyeshadow, but look like they're powder. So as soon as you go to touch them, they turn to a cream, which I love. So I'm just picking up a little bit on this brush and running it from my inner to outer corner just to kind of get a transition shade. And then the rest typically. Then I'll go back in with that lightish, like grayish silver color, and I'm going to use my finger to go ahead and press it down on my lid. And please do not mind my missing fingernail because we have to get our nails done. Of course, it decides to break before a video. Going in with the Tarte Make Believe in Yourself palette. This is pretty new for me. I love these shades in here. I'm going in with that matte shade right at the top. It's called Myth, and I'm gonna go ahead and run that from inner to outer corner just a little bit, mixing in with the e.l.f. shade that we have there just to kind of go over it, intensify the color a little bit. It will also set it down because it was a cream, so it will do all that fun stuff as well as add additional color. So I'm just gonna do a little bit. Next up for the outer corner area, I'm just taking this deeper brown shade, which is the shade Magic from that palette. And it does have a little bit of shimmer in it, but I personally did not mind. So I'm just going to put a little bit in the outer corner and make sure to blend. Then I went in with the last shade in that Aqua palette from e.l.f. This is also the Island Breeze palette. Forgot to mention that before, but I'm also running this shade right underneath my lower lash line just to kind of complete the look and get it all seamless and extra smoky like. And what I did find about these shadows were that they work better using your finger just because they are more of like that powder to cream type of deal, and when you use your brush with it, it kind of takes away the pigment. But I didn't really mind it just because I liked the way that it was applying, but I do notice slight differences when you use a brush to when you don't use a brush. And a smaller brush, I'm just taking that first shade, which is like a baby pink kind of champagne color, and I'm just putting that right into the inner third of the lid. To go ahead and highlight up the skin, I'm using this Milk Makeup stick in the shade Lit. Now this has been everywhere. I've seen this on Instagram in a ton of videos, and it just looks so nice. I was like, I gotta pick this up. I have to see what it's all about and the hype. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a little bit of this on my cheekbones. Well, not a little, who am I kidding? But I'm gonna go ahead and put this all over my cheekbones, my nose, Cupid's bow, all those fun spots, and I'm using it as an actual stick form, and then I will go in with a different brush, so go ahead and blend it away. And I actually really like the way that it applied. It's more of that champagne type of highlight, which is my total like highlighted look. I love that look. So I'm just gonna apply that right onto the cheekbones, and it really applied nicely. As soon as I swiped it on, I got a full amount of pigment, so I was really happy with it, and I'm gonna go ahead and swipe it on and blend it out. I'm gonna also put this on my collarbones, and if you're, you know, like shoulders were showing, you can put it there as well, but I'm going to put a little bit on my collarbones and blend it out with this Sigma brush, and I'm absolutely obsessed. It definitely is a cream-ish highlighter, but it doesn't stay wet. It dries instantly. It doesn't like slip around the face or anything like that, which I was really happy about. Next up, I'm going in with a new OFRA blush, and you guys know me, I do not wear blush, but this is in the shade Bellini, and I figured I'd pop it on just because it's more of a mauve-ish shade. It's not really pink or anything like that. It's really pretty and subtle, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that on the apples of my cheeks, blending up into the highlight and contour little area, and it just gives some additional color and looks really pretty. Then I'm going in with Too Faced bronzer, just blending those together, not really adding too much additional color, but it's just going to blend them all together. So that's not new, but it just blends, blends it all together. Except for mascara, I'm taking the new Revlon Mega Multiplier, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this on my lower lashes first because we didn't do our falsies yet. So I'm going to put that on the lower lashes, and I love the way that this worked because it's not super chunky, the brush, but it's also not super thin. I found it really coated the lashes nicely, separated them, as well as giving them length. So super nice. I really love it. Going in with Pure On Point Liner, and this is in the shade Heartless, which is a black shade. I'm going in and putting this right into my lower lash line and lower waterline, and I'm just going to go ahead and tightline just a little bit. I wanted to have this look be a little bit more dark and not so bright. I wanted it to be a little bit more smoky-like, so I'm just adding this black liner. I'm using the Itty Bitty Beauty Blender to go ahead and pull my eye down a little bit just so there's no tugging on the actual makeup. I like to use this sponge to do that, so I don't mess everything up. And I'm going to go ahead and run this there and above. And with these new Time Los Angeles lashes, I'm going to go ahead and pop those on. These are the style Boss Lady. And I did trim the outer corner just a little bit because they were a little long. But I popped those on with some Red Cherry Lash Glue. Now I'm going in with that same eyeliner from Pure Cosmetics. And I'm just putting a little bit onto the top waterline to go ahead and tightline and make sure it looks super seamless. And then taking that same mascara from Revlon and putting a tiny, tiny bit on the top portion of my eye. To go ahead and complete this look, I'm taking the Revlon new matte lip color, and this is the metallic matte shade in the shade HD Glow. And it's more of that nude champagne color, and at first when I put this on, I felt like it completely washed me out, so I was like, scratch that. We gotta put on some type of lip liner or a different color, and then this will be the topper. So I realized that now. And then I went in with MAC's lip liner in the shade Boldly Bare, and I went ahead and lined my lips, and that just gave a little bit of a pinkish nude look to it, just so it didn't look so dull. I went in with a retro matte lip color from MAC as well in the shade Burnt Spice, and I went ahead and filled in my lips with this color. I absolutely love the formulation of these. This was like my third time trying this out, so I'm obsessed with this. This wasn't supposed to be the original color, so sorry that I threw this in here, but I'm obsessed with it. Then I went in with the Revlon metallic color and put that right over top. And then to complete this look even more, which is totally optional, I went in with the new e.l.f. Apricot Glow Highlighter and just topped a little bit over top of the Milk Highlighter just because it was cream. I just felt I should put a little bit of a powder over top because I usually use like 7 highlighters. So I just put a little bit over that, and that pretty much wraps up this entire look using a bunch of new makeup products, putting them all to the test. I absolutely love trying out new products. I feel like there's so many that's out there right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, maybe found it a little helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. We'll see you in my next one. Bye! Mwah.